5,800 pounds in that workout. It was a good one. Hey guys, this is Dan with Gears and Gadgets. Thanks for tuning in. So, just finished my 23rd workout on Tonal, and I want to talk about the top 5 things I hate about Tonal. Now, first of all, I do love this machine. There certainly are some things I point out to this machine that could be better, and trying to remain objective. So let's go ahead and talk about the top 5 things that I hate about Tonal. Number 1, that is probably the most annoying at this point, is pairing with the Apple Watch. When I come to work out, when you first select a workout, it tells you to pair your Apple Watch. I start up the app, and it'll take a minute or two for it to pair. Sometimes I have to restart the app. It's kind of annoying when you come to the machine, you're kind of ready to start going, and then you're messing around here with your watch, and it can be kind of annoying. So I hope, and I'm sure that gets resolved in a firmware update down the road. I think that this was something that was relatively new, is the Apple Watch integration. I love the integration itself because I can monitor my heart rate as I'm working out. That is phenomenal. Getting there can just be sometimes a bit of a pain. The next thing is bruises on the arms. As you see when you're doing the workouts, the cables actually will kind of rub up against your arms. And when you're doing 2, 3, 4 workouts a week, it will start to leave some bruising on the sides of your arm. Now, I've seen a lot of people complain about that, but honestly, I kind of like the bruises because it's a little bit of a badge of honor. And I would assume that's a combination of just body positioning a little bit better and overall just conditioning your body, and that goes away. But it is there. It's something that I have noticed. Now, the next thing is price. Everybody always comes and says on comments and all that with Tonal, and anybody I talk to that I tell that I own this machine basically tells me that I'm crazy, that I spent too much money. To them, I say, if you use Tonal, for me, it was like pretty much the first time I used it, I was like, this thing is legit. And if it changes my life as it already pretty much started to do for the better, then it's worth infinite amount of money. I say that because prior to owning Tonal, I just started having a ton of really bad back problems. And my body, I'm 38, so I'm starting to feel age. And Tonal seems to be helping. I have had a very busy 2 weeks here. I'm actually remodeling my kitchen. I have a full-time job, also filming YouTube videos. And with the kitchen remodeling, that type of stuff would put me down for days, typically just being hunched over and things like that. And I personally have already noticed, I am 23 workouts into it, that the conditioning of my back, specifically my back, is infinitely better at this point than what it was a month or 2 ago. Now, I'm noticing already some muscle development, some of the visible stuff. I'm not a meathead. I'm not here trying to get super jacked for YouTube or for anybody, ultimately. I'm really here just trying to get better for myself and make myself feel better. So, again, price, if it does all of those things, it's worth every penny of it, because as I'm busy, I'm able to still get these workouts in, and that in and of itself is irreplaceable to me. Now, to get into price, however, I will say, one thing I do wish Tonal would do for the price that you pay is I had to go out and buy a Gorilla mat here, which is a larger mat. This is not included from Tonal. Tonal provides just a traditional yoga mat. If you're on hardwood floors, that'll be fine, but assuming a lot of people are probably getting these things installed in carpeted areas, you're going to want to pick up a Gorilla mat or something like that. I'll link it down in the description down below, the one I bought here, but you can get these things anywhere. This worked out really well. As you can see, I'm sweating like a pig, and this just helps kind of keep the area clean. So it would be nice if Tonal would include something, again, for the price that you're paying, maybe a little more substantial than like a standard size yoga mat. I've heard people complain about the quality of the bench. Again, not a meathead. I couldn't tell a premium bench from a basic bench, so I really couldn't critique that. But the Smart Accessory Bundle, I'm not saying they need to include it for free, but I think just make the thing the price of what it is with the Smart Accessory Bundle, because I couldn't imagine using this thing without all of the accessories, the bench and all that stuff. So I think they should just kind of make it one bundle. You get everything and don't have to sit there and add things on. In my opinion, it would just be nice to see it all kind of sold as just one still super expensive bundle. But one bundle nonetheless. Now, the next thing is installation. And this is something for me, I'm a do-it-yourselfer, I mean, to the T. I do everything I possibly can myself to save a buck because it's just who I am by nature. So having to wait for an install crew to come here to hang this on the wall, I understand why they do it, liability, things like that. But for somebody who genuinely enjoys wrenching on things and just kind of figuring things out, to me, opening the box and figuring out how to install it is part of the fun. I understand a whole lot of people want nothing to do with that, so I get it. And I also understand the liability that Tonal doesn't want somebody installing this incorrectly and pulling it down on themselves. It did take a couple guys to hang this thing, and I didn't personally do it, but I could tell it is a very stout unit. So I understand it, but it would be nice if there was even maybe a waiver. Maybe that's a bad way to approach it. But personally, I would have just liked to have this thing show up at my house and have a buddy come over and help hang it on the wall. And to me, that's just kind of part of the fun of exploring it. So I think a lot of people don't really care about the install part of it and probably prefer the install part of it. But for me, if I could get a little bit sooner, do the install myself, I am 100% capable of finding studs in the wall. Now, the last thing I'm going to say, number 5, that I have had issues with. Before I get into that, I'm going to say I watched a bunch of reviews on Tonal and noticed as you're pulling on these arms that you can see this type of movement in the arm. And I thought that was going to be super sketchy. I thought I was going to have a huge problem with it. Watching it on video, it looks concerning. However, doing the workouts, I feel none of that. None at all. I don't notice it. I don't see it. Out of sight, out of mind. And I do trust this thing is engineered to withstand the weight. So I trust it. I thought I was going to hate that. I don't even notice it. So I will say, if that's a concern of yours, personally, I don't even notice it happening. So no problem with that. But the thing that I don't like is that on my Tonal, if I can get it to do it, now it's going to make a liar out of me. I did have some issues with this arm squeaking, and it was happening. Now it's not going to happen. Okay, it's a magic issue that solved itself, so maybe just working itself in a little bit. Okay, so the problem went away. So this is now just a top 4 things I hate about Tonal because this arm does not squeak anymore. So I'm guessing it was just a break-in thing. It was literally just doing it the other day. But I guess moving this arm up and down enough, that has now gone away. So that gripe for me is gone. But it was kind of something that was like, man, for the money you spend to have that thing squeaking, if it continued to do it, I would have just hit it with some sort of oil or something and greased it up and been done with it. I'm not going to make a big stink about something like that. So that is my top 5 things that I hate about Tonal. Now, of course, as I say, top 5 things I hate about Tonal, I've already mentioned, this machine is already changing my life for the better. I'm already noticing gains. And as I sit here on a week where I have so much stuff going on, I have a kitchen that was totally torn apart, replace all the cabinets, get them all plumbed in and ready for countertops, doing all of that. Also having a full-time job and putting out 3 videos a week on this channel. All of that stuff is right here in my house, and the convenience of it. With everything else going on right now, I would have to either stop putting out YouTube videos, I would have to, I can't really stop going to work, or stop the kitchen. And with this being right here, I'm able to still do all of it. And it's a lot. It's a lot. Not sustainable long term, but one very busy week ahead of me. So I absolutely love Tonal. Really, as far as spending money on this machine, if you are going to use it, again, you're talking to somebody here who has had absolutely horrendous records with gyms. I'll join a gym, I'll go with it for a month or 2, and then I'll start to go once a week, and then I'll stop going. I've done that probably a dozen times in my life. When life gets busy, the gym is the first thing to go. As you can see, I'm still able to crush this and do YouTube videos and go to work and do the kitchen. And it's because of Tonal that I can continue on working out in the midst of that super busy schedule. So I can't really bag on this machine all that much. It's doing me a ton of favors right now, and I absolutely love it. So with that being said, guys, Thank you very much for tuning in. This one probably got a little bit long-winded, but I did want to provide a tonal update here with a little more content, maybe trying to be a little more critical than I was in previous videos. So with that being said, guys, thank you very much for tuning in. If this is your first time tuning in, please hit that subscribe button down below. Remember, likes go a long way to help support the channel. I will see you guys next time.